What's up? What's up? What's up, Everyday Athlete Podcast Network listeners? Welcome to the Fireside Chat, the very first episode of 2026. Before we even get started into anything, I want to say thank you so much for making the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network part of your lifestyle and time, because in 2024 into 2025, we hit over 10,000 downloads, and we are now on pace to exceed that by about 36%. So thank you so much. Everything that you're doing to help us reach our goals is appreciated. Keep doing it. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review to the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, wherever you listen. And if you are on Spotify or YouTube, please leave us a comment. All of these things help move our shows up the algorithm. But honestly, I'm asking you to do it because I love seeing it. I love waking up every morning and seeing comments on Spotify and YouTube and seeing ratings and reviews come in. They mean the world to me. By the way, I have a new sweatshirt on. We were just in New York City. Coach Watson at Nor X Fourth. This is his company. This is a great sweatshirt. It highlights New York City, so you know it's near and dear to my heart. So without any more rambling from me, I want to introduce my guest, Natalie Lutz. Natalie goes by @multisportmama on Instagram, and she's got some credentials, let me tell you. 254 marathoner, 124 half marathoner. She has qualified for Boston 11 times. She is a world champ qualifier and a team run coach. She is based in Philly, so I'm sure we'll get into some conversations about Philly versus New York. Maybe not, who knows? But I'm super excited because Armando at Alethea Run connected us. And as you guys know, I've been using that device for about 2 weeks now consistently. And I'm excited to talk to Natalie about that amongst a whole host of other things. So without any more rambling from me, let's bring Natalie on the show and let's have some fun. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. Did I get all your numbers correct? I pulled them straight off of your Instagram profile.
You did. It made me feel a little nervous because I'm like, oh, it sounds so professional.
Don't let that fool you. That's my studio voice. That's just my studio voice. Don't be fooled. There's nothing serious about this. Let's have all the fun in the world. Feel free to let loose. We're here like as if we just finished running 11 miles, which you said you did, and we're having coffee post run, maybe with some croissants or bagels or something.
Sounds good. Chocolate croissants are my favorite.
Perfect. So we talk a lot about food on this show, and we're going to talk a little bit about music later on. But one question that I use to break the ice is pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Nay, huge nay, against it completely.
This is going to be a great show.
I knew that answer right away.
I don't know why people put it on. I will say, so you and Vittoria, who I believe was our last guest as we closed out the year, who is also based in Philly, said no. So we've got some East Coast connections going on here. We're banning pineapple from our pizzas.
Mm-hmm. Not a place for it at all.
I kind of gave your running resume, but one of the things I love to do is to get to know people beyond their running resume and their numbers. So who is Natalie Lutz?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I'm a first and foremost, like I'm a wife and a mother. I am a medical speech pathologist by background, and I currently now I'm a director of therapy. So I manage PTs, OTs, and speech therapists. So busy, very social. Running is not, I love to run. It's my favorite thing to do. Obviously, it's a huge passion of mine, but I'm definitely not how some people are into running and that's all they do. I try to have a lot of interests and just, I think I just like to have fun in life, just like to have a good time and take it easy. And the only thing I really am super, super type A about, I'm really type B, which is very, very odd for most runners, right?
Oh.
Right. As a coach too, most of my runners are all definitely strong type A's. I'm like, yeah, no, you're fine. Take a day off. You don't feel good. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's all about moderation. But I'm definitely very chill, except for when it does come to not everything about running, but just like my actual getting it done and be motivated. That's the only thing I would say where my type A is good to have. And I feel like it's strong there. And otherwise, I am super disorganized. I'm the type of person that's like, I'll do anything and everything during the day and then leave my run to like late at night or just to like, get it in, make sure I get it in. So yeah, I'm just like a little bit of a scatterbrain too. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
I love it. No, that's a fantastic answer. I got like 77 questions out of it because that's how my brain works. And so you can't answer running. What do you do for fun?
Oh, see, that's a hard one. You kind of got me there because I said I like to like do other things. And I can't answer running. Okay. I'm not like a big TV. I do watch TV, but I'm not like a huge TV watcher. I like to go with my girlfriends.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are your girlfriends runners as well?
So some of them are, but some of them aren't. So it's nice to have a little bit of
Yeah,
both because you need to have a little bit diversity because when running friends, it's all about running, and that's great because they get you, they can relate to you. But I have a little bit of both,
that's awesome.
which is nice. Yeah, yeah.
You said you're kind of a type B coach, and I would put myself in that same descriptor. So when my athletes text me and they're like, "Hey, I don't feel this, I don't feel that," I'm like, "Skip it. Like, there's no sense in going to do something and getting injured because you're not into it mentally. I get it." But and I believe a large part of that comes from me having gotten burnt out on sports.
Hmm.
Sing triathlon. I was Ironman distance. I was training 20 hours a week, and it just got me burned out. And so I'm real cognizant of that with my athletes. Was there something that created that in you, or were you always sort of that type B when it comes to being a coach with your athletes?
I think maybe a combination of things. Similarly to what you said, burnout. I've experienced a lot. Actually in college, I ran 2 years D1 cross country, and I quit my junior year
You,
right when the season started.
you're
I was
beating me
like,
to the punch. I have this
right,
written down.
oh my God, you did. That's so funny. Yeah, I did. I said, you know what? I was like, I see this is part of my type B. I said, okay, I did 2 years of serious work here. I didn't put my all into it. Looking back now, I work much harder now than I ever did then. But you're young, you're basically still a kid at that time. And I just kind of thought every Saturday, I know this is going to sound like a really like lame or wild answer, but every Saturday, everyone's going out and having a good time and having fun. And I'm sitting in my dorm, or Friday night, sitting in my dorm waiting to, race the next day. And I just kind of was like, I spent 2 years doing this. And now I want to have 2 years of a good time, having fun, going out and not being so stressed. We were doing 2 days at that point, and I had been deciding between my major, and I kept switching. I was doing classes for OT, and then I was doing classes for like English, and then I was kind of all over the place. Again, like I said, I'm quite a scatterbrain sometimes, which can work for me and then it can work against me. I can get a lot of cool ideas about things, and I'm like, oh, I want to try this, I want to do this, but it's hard for me sometimes to narrow things in. But yeah, I ended up getting so burnt out, and that experience really I think stayed with me for a while because I didn't run for almost like I want to say 15 years, somewhere
Oh,
around there.
really?
Yeah, I would jump in a 5K maybe twice a year just for fun with my family or something. But I did not run competitively, and I did not run regularly, not like season through season like I am now. But yeah, it's stuff like that. And then I had experiences with like when I got back into running, injury. And I truly feel that the mental component is so important. So when your life is stressed and you have things going on, a lot of my athletes will say things like, I had a really tough work week. All that stuff is stress on your body, and
Yeah.
I don't think people really realize either that you're going to get sick, you're going to you're just it's putting that physical stress on you, and that still impacts your body. So I'm always like, err on the side of caution, pull it back, because it's always going to be there. Running is always going to be there. Taking a day off. I just took, I think 7 days. I had the flu. I just got the flu last week, and I took 7 days off, and part of me towards like Sunday, I started to get a little antsy. I was like, oh, come on,
Right.
Nat. And I was like, you know what? Just rest, let your body rest, because you're not going to be able to be as strong when you come back if I came back too early. So
Because
yeah.
this conversation is happening so early in the year, I'm so glad that you said that because we have a lot of new runners getting into the sport today
Mhm.
who are going to push through things that they probably shouldn't push through. And here's somebody who's qualified for Boston 11 times telling you, look, I was sick. I took off for 7 days and I thought I might get back to it on one day. And I was like, you know what? What's another day? And here you are. You ran 11 miles today. And so, right, like the extra day of
Yeah.
rest didn't hurt your performance, didn't impact you, and you're going to be stronger for it. I want to ask you, do you know who Maria Simone is? Because if you're in Philly, she was out of South Jersey, Philly area for a long time with No Limits Endurance coaching.
No, I don't know her name.
So
Yeah.
Maria is my coach, and I work under her umbrella today. And gosh, this was in 2011, I think. She said to me exactly what you just said, which was, Jason, stress is stress. Your body doesn't know the physical stress from the mental stress. It just knows that your body is going through stress. And so as you were saying that, I was nodding my head in agreement internally because I think we often forget that the stress that we're dealing with work or our spouses or partners or kids is going to impact us when it comes to the physical side of it. And conversely, right? Like the physical
Yeah.
side can impact us on the other side as well.
Hmm.
And I think that's so important. So thank you for pointing that out. And like I said, you beat me to the punch about the 2 years of running at D20. I was like, I wonder what happened.
I wanted to have a good time. No, it's a combination of things. A lot of stress, and it was either that something had to give, and it was that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's another really great example of running is what we do. It's not who we are. And I think if you have somebody again who's running at Division 1 level, collegiate level, and is like, yeah, I think there's something else out there for me. It's okay to move on.
It is. It is. That's a really good point. It truly is. And like, you said, I kind of touched on a little bit earlier, like running is, I love it. It's a huge piece of who I am, but it does not define me, and it's not the only thing I do. And um it's interesting, lately I have been feeling like I want to focus on other things that I'm interested in, like business ideas that I have and things of that nature. And I really am starting to notice that I'm spending a lot of my time that normally I would put into running, doing those things. And it's kind of I have bifurcated feelings about it. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm maybe evolving or moving on, like just kind of, shifting my priorities a little bit. But then part of me is like, but no, you're not like so intense with your training. And again, I'm not like super type A intense, but I do make sure, like I do make sure I get my mileage met, and I do make sure I do like the workouts I need to do. But it's like that piece that I find I've been kind of ruminating about, like, am I really putting all I can into like, this training block and stuff like that. So
Well, that's a great segue into setting up, because we're at the beginning of the year, setting up goals for yourself. So, like, how do you look at this? Because I know when I talk to especially beginners, every race is their A race. Like they don't hold back on that idea. Like I need to PR at every single race, and that's just not going to happen. So, somebody with your experience, how do you structure sort of your race schedule to say this is the important race, and these are the things that are leading up to that?
well, you know what? I wish I had a really great answer for that. But in honest truth, well, this is my answer. My answer is I am not that great about that, because there have time, like for example, there have been times where last Chicago I had a great race. I finally broke three after trying for about 3 years, and I felt on top of the world. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go right into another block. Prior to that, though, just to give you a little background, I had gone back to back blocks. Like 1 year, I ran 5 marathon, trained for 5 blocks in 12. months. So I was like going. So at this point, I got to a point where I was like, I did feel like, I'm on cloud nine. I feel like I can do better. You get this high and you're like, oh, let me keep going. Let me keep, the balls rolling. And I got to winter. So October was the race. I got to February, I believe it was, and I was burnout, just burnout. I had signed up for a race and I was training for another block, and I was going to do a half marathon and a full, and I ended up not doing either. So it is hard because sometimes you don't know how your body's going to react.
Right.
Planning those races and setting them up. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I do tend to do things a little bit unorthodox, I say. Even my training I've done has been quite unorthodox. This last block was really funny. I did some interesting things, but I'll try things.
You can't just say that and
Well,
move on.
I didn't know if you want to get to that later, or I'll forget what we're actually talking about. I'll go off on another tangent. But I'll hold that thought. I'll
I'll
back
write
to
it down.
that. But I noticed that like it's really hard for me sometimes to know when my body is, not quite ready. I did run a Boston and I DNF'd not too long ago because I was in that doing 5 blocks within like 11 months. And I got to the race knowing I was very tired, pretty I even felt like, should I even toe the line? But I thought, I'm here, might as well. And I got to about mile 13 and I said, nope, my body doesn't want to do this. It's not ready today. And I was totally okay with it. Like I wasn't upset. I was like, and that's kind of part of that type B personality where I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal. I told my husband when I called him and it said, I got an Uber with a bunch of people. We're trying to get back into the city. And I said, let's go to the bar. Like, I'm like, let's have a drink. Let's have fun. Because I said, I'm not upset about this. My body it has limits. And like I said before, running will always be there. There will always be another race. So, it's not the end of the world. So yeah.
We are cut from the same cloth because a few years ago, I was racing the Canyons 100 miler, and at the 50K mark, 31 miles, I started moving and I just didn't feel well. There wasn't enough fuel on the course for me. And I thought I could go hang out with my wife and my business partner and have pizza, or I could really just struggle mightily through the next 69 miles, which might take me 20 hours.
Yeah.
Like this shouldn't be a hard decision at this point.
Yep.
I jumped in the sag wagon and got back and we went and had pizza, and I didn't lose any sleep over it,
That's awesome. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with knowing that at that time it's just not your day. And it doesn't mean that you're not tough or you're not strong and you don't have grit to do it on another day in other circumstances. So
Right.
I think that's a big takeaway too. It's not always just, this moment. There's tons of moments. There will be tons of other opportunities.
Yeah, one of the things we talk about in our company and in our Run Try Bike community is perspective. And DNFing 100 miler, on the surface, somebody might be like, "Oh, you DNF'd," but the reality is, I still ran 31 miles.
Absolutely.
And then the last event at Javelina this past October, I DNF'd at mile 52, and I was like, "But I still made it to 52 miles."
Yeah.
And the other part is like I have finished 8 100 milers, so there's like I don't have to prove it to anybody, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so that you have to maintain that perspective. And I think that's one of the hardest things that people, when they first get into our sport, are like, I have to prove, because the comparison game is there, right? Especially with social media. So as a person who has qualified for Boston now 11 times, I want to have you go back in time to when you were first trying to qualify for Boston. And so you don't say this anywhere. So did you try qualifying for Boston and miss before you finally did qualify, or were you, I tried and I qualified the first time?
I did run one marathon many years ago where I didn't train and I had a bad time. and it was my first one ever, and I just like did it for fun. But the first time I ever trained for one, the second time, which I consider like the real marathon that I ever
Mhm.
did, my first one, I did qualify right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that but the time was different then. I think my time was a 3:32, and at that point it was a qualifying time. I think I was in my late 20s for Boston. It was 2010 or 2010. Yeah. So it was a while ago. Yeah.
2010, and you broke 3 hours in 2025 then? And
Yeah.
so to go from 332 to 254 in 15 years. Now you said you tried to break three for 3 years, but
hmm
if we're looking at this as the whole, like 15 years is a long time to get down there. Do you consider yourself a patient person?
Well, like what I think what I'm not really. I'm not patient. so, so no. But I think that's why I think that's probably why I did so much of the 3 years where I was like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. And I went back, back to back marathons, and I really, I just couldn't let it go. But I did have that like long period of time where I didn't run. So the 15 years, it was like I did that one marathon in my like late 20s, and that was just like one of my like kind of
Okay.
fun runs. I wasn't really, training for much, and I didn't really have a program. So I just that was just like for fun. And then it was exciting that I qualified for Boston, and I never ran Boston. I just was like, I'm okay qualifying. I don't have to run it. And then years went by, and it's funny because like I had family members that qualified, and they all ran it, and they would wear their jackets around me, and they would like rub it in my face, and they were like, yeah, they'd be like, yeah, we have like every time I would come around, they would all put their jackets on, my mom, my two sisters, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, I qualified. So like
That's
but then like
awesome.
then one year, like I was like, I'm gonna, when I got back into running, it was right after I had my daughter. I was really into it. Like I started doing tries and do's when like right before I had her. And then um right after I had her, I was picking it back up again. And then I got heavily back into just running.
Yep.
And then I said, well, I'm gonna qualify again. That was like my goal, and then I'm actually gonna run it. And I did those two things. And but it was the marathon. So I had like a 3:32 in my late 20s, and then the next one I did was when my daughter was, I think I was like 37 or 38, and it was a 3:24. And then from there I went to a 3:08, and that's when I was like, oh, I can maybe try for a sub 3.
Oh, that's so awesome. Like it's cool when you find that thing that just kind of lights you on fire. I remember when I ran my first 100 miler at Rock, or I guess second 100 miler at Rocky Raccoon. I was like, I'd like to break 24 hours. And somebody was like, well, why don't you just try to break 20, like being sarcastic. And I was like, bet, it's on. And
Yeah.
I did. I broke 20 hours. I broke 20 hours a
Awesome.
handful of times at the 100-mile distance. But it's like that sometimes you don't know what you need to get you to push yourself.
Yeah.
And it was like 8 minutes, right? 8 minutes is what I need to do. Now, 8 minutes is an eternity in a marathon. Or let's not let's not kid ourselves. Like that's a
Right.
lot of work.
It is. Yeah.
So 308, what was the next time that you hit after the 308 when you were steadfast at trying to break 3 hours?
Oh yeah, I was a 3:05, so
And
I
then,
I broke up a good chunk, and then it was 3:04, 3:03, 3:05, and then it was 3 hours, wait, and 10 seconds.
which one hurt more, the 3 hours and 10 seconds or like the 302, 303?
I think that the 3:03s and the 3:04s really bothered me. The 3 hour and 10 seconds, a lot of people, my friends, were like, weren't you devastated? I bet you were like, and yeah, I wasn't, no, I actually wasn't devastated, but I was like, it does stink that I missed it by a few seconds. However, I thought if I can do that,
Right.
I can break it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a matter of I took a drink too long, or
Yep.
like, just it's in that scheme of things, 10 seconds in a full marathon is like nothing.
Yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
That tells me how much of a competitor you are, because the 3 minutes is like, "Damn it, I've gotta go back to the drawing board. What did I do right? What did I do wrong?" 10 seconds is the mindset is, "I got this.
Mhm,
I'm locked in now. So
mhm.
let's go back to training, and we don't have to change too much, and we can get right to it because I can get those 10 seconds."
Yep, yep.
And so then you run 2:54, so from 3
Mhm.
hours, 10 seconds
So
to 2:54?
so I went from 3 hours, and then I ran Chicago in 2024, and I broke 3 there, which was really cool. It was just such a cool race to do it at. I had a buddy that one of my, for my coaching group, that linked me up with a friend who ended up pacing me, which was extremely helpful. And then, I broke it there and I was so excited. And this year I went back again just because I had such a great time at that race, and I loved it. I loved the energy, and I loved that it was big. And it, to me, it had that feel that people love about Boston. But, a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying this, but, like, I just hate I hate the Boston course. I hate waiting around for a bus, like, taking the bus and waiting around up there. It's just, like, not for me. Like, I'm a person that's just like, "Let me just, get to the starting line and take off," kinda thing. So, to me, it's like my version of Boston,
Yeah.
where, like, it's such a cool race. It has all those components that you like, the about a big race, and, but yeah, it's not too much like hoopla, I feel like.
I
So,
told
yeah.
you we're not here for clickbait, but the headline is gonna be "Natalie says she hates Boston" when we talk.
I'm not gonna go back. I don't think I'll ever go back. Especially after the DNF. Like, I had a really cool race there the first time I did it, but the reason I liked it a lot was because it was the COVID year. It was like October of 21, I think, when the start was rolling. So that's why I liked it. I got off the bus, just like went right up to the start. I'm like, okay, and I started my watch, and then the second time I went, when I DNF'd, it was like I couldn't go to the bathroom. They had me like locked in these like security areas, and I was just begging the security guard. I'm like, "Can't you can keep an eye on me? Can I just go to the porta potty over there?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "This is too much."
I love it. So you love Chicago, Boston is met. What is, some of your other, races that you've done that you absolutely love?
I absolutely love, and I want to go back. It's just always falls around the time that Chicago is, and I might be a Chicago regular. I'm not sure, but I love Indianapolis Monumental. That was the race I got 3 hours and 10 seconds, and it's just such a really cool race because it's a little bit of it's a small city. Um, and it's a bigger race and has a lot of good competitors, but it is so easy to navigate. It's such a small town feel. My hotel was like right outside the starting line, and I just rolled up literally like 2 minutes before the start, and it was just such a really cool race, well run. I love it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you said you raced tries and dos.
Mhm.
What got you out of those sports? Was it the time commitment to get in the pool, riding a bike?
Yeah. So I was into tries and do's on and off for years. Like, my mom got me into it when I was in college actually, and I did a few local ones. And I thought they were so fun because you're going from one sport to the next, and I really kind of caught the bug. And then I got all the nice gear. I got this nice tri but you know what happens? You get
Yes.
sucked in.
Yes, I
And
know.
I was one of those, and I got this like really nice tri bike. And my mom had been a cyclist for years before I even got into it. So I would ride with her or other people, but I never always like I always felt um I don't want to say uncomfortable on the bike, but I always felt like I couldn't let my mind rest and relax because I was always worried I was either going to hit something.
Yeah.
My mom had fallen off her bike when I was a kid real badly and had a head injury and was in the hospital for a while. So that always scared me and made me nervous because, but she had her helmet on, which saved her life. And so it always, I always had this underlying like nervousness about it. I enjoy the actual races because I feel like they're safer.
Yeah.
They have, there's a course. It's usually, the traffic is manageable if there is traffic in those. And, but what kind of like led me away from that was it's 100%, like you said, the time commitment. You got to ride double to get in what you need to for running time wise. Swimming, every time I went, there wasn't room in the lanes, or like the chlorine was shut off and they had to close down the pool. There was always something.
Always something.
And yeah, there is. Like, to get in the pool, you're so lucky if you ever do. And but I did like how all those different things made me, I feel like, a stronger runner. They
Yeah,
really
I
did.
agree.
But definitely I'd have to say the biggest piece was the cycling. And I literally, like, I don't think I've been on my bike since. So maybe a few times I've taken out for a stroll.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was actually trying to sell it the other day. It's a
Send
really
me the
nice
link.
one. Also, if anybody wants it, it's a P2 Di2, whatever, like Cervelo.
Send me the link. We'll put it in our Everyday Athlete Clubhouse Slack channel. Maybe we got some triathletes in there that will be looking for it. Yeah, I raced 8 Ironman. I finished 8 Ironman, so I understand the time
That's
commitment
awesome.
and the adding of the gear and everything else. But I also do know the hesitancy about cycling. Like, I love cycling. It's one of my favorite things to do. I always say I'm a runner by talent, but a cyclist by heart. And so I love riding the bike. But to your point about your mother and her accident, like, I had a friend, we were at Ironman Texas, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just going to ride my bike over to the start line." And I was like, "The hell you are, not without a helmet." And he's like, "It's 30 feet away, 100 feet away, whatever it was." And I was like, "I don't care, dude. Like, you are putting on this helmet. Somebody with a stroller, a dog gets off leash, who knows?" And next thing you know, you're laying on the side of the road with a cracked skull instead of a broken helmet. And so I fully understand that. That question was sort of like a lead-in question to ask you if, trail running and ultra running is gaining in popularity constantly. Have you entertained the idea of, you know what, especially because you said I did some interesting training. So,
Yeah. Good question. And that's funny because the interesting training was a trail runner, ultra runner friend of mine actually was like, "I've been looking at your Strava and you're training like an ultra runner." And I was so this last block that I did where I ran the 254, I was just having fun. I was messing around for a while. I ended up getting a coach literally just 4 weeks before Chicago, so I ended up just kind of doing my own thing this block, and I did a lot of like 20 milers every week, which like most people say don't, and I wouldn't coach that way either. Like, I
Yeah,
always tell them, I say I do things on myself as a guinea pig. So like, I stick to the standard stuff for other people, but I did almost a 20 miler every week. And then I did high mileage overall. But the reason I ended up doing a, a long 20 every week was because I was trying to hit a certain amount of mileage just for myself, and
yeah,
my work week or my life week wouldn't let me get it in until the weekend. And sometimes it was just all left for Sunday, which is my long run day.
yeah,
So if I had like a 16 or 18 on the book, or 18 or 17, I would always then just go out and run maybe like 4 more, or like later on the day, just to make sure I hit the number. And it might have been 20, might have been 21, sometimes it was a 22. But I did that every week for a while. And then yeah, that was just kind of a little odd, and it was just strange the way I did it. It was like, and so then that also led me to do high back to backs. So
yes.
Saturday was a higher day,
You were
and then
definitely
Sunday,
going into the ultra running space.
yeah. So I think my like Saturdays were like 14, and then always like a 20 or something on the Sunday. So at least
Yep.
13 to 14. And then so I have a friend who he does like a lot of ultra races and stuff. And he was like, yeah, you are training like you would do really well at this race. You should show up. And I did do a 50K during COVID that I had a lot of fun doing. It was a flat trail, but it was still trail, and I really enjoyed it. And I fell in love with running through cross country.
Yep.
So the trails and all that are near and dear to my heart. And I definitely always preferred cross country over track. And track seems to be more, more like a little bit more like road racing. So I am very, very, I've been entertaining it. And it's really funny today during my 11 miler today. I was just thinking to myself, I go, I really think I want to take this up, because I think I wrote even on one of my Strava titles was, I'm really loving these like long distance. I said, I'm just having such a grand time. And I did, I just absolutely enjoy it. I feel like there's less pressure on,
Yes.
paces.
Yes.
And, I do notice, I feel like the more I do this sport, the more stressed out I will get on a workout day. In my head, I'll just
Yep.
go, I know I got to do my workout today. It looks a little intense. I don't think I can hit it. And then I just do this whole kind of like a little
Yeah.
dread thing. And when it's a regular day and I have like 12 or 13 on the books, I'm like, woohoo, I can just like go out. And I let my mind run, and I just have such a good time, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So that is something I'm thinking about. And I thought today, I'm like, I really would rather do like an ultra type of training. I know you still do speed, but like
Yes.
just like, a little bit not, it's just a different style. So
So this is what I think, one of the reasons I think running is so amazing. Like, you're contemplating potentially going into the trail and ultra space, and I've been there for the last 10 years or so. I raced Cocodona the inaugural year.
oh, wow.
Um, and now I'm going back to racing marathons. So this year,
Mhm.
2026, we're with our run club tour, we're going to be doing Oakland, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco marathons, and it's a whole different ballgame. So I'm looking at my training schedule, and I
Mhm.
just posted about this. And to your point, like, I'm intimidated because I'm like, oh my goodness, like, you got to hit these paces, and you got to do these 800s, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. Whereas with ultra running, it was like, okay, just make sure you run for a very long time, basically.
Yep.
And it's a little bit less pressure. So it's one of the things that I do love about running, is that we can move around and not be pigeonholed into one type of distance or one type of running scenario, for our entire journey throughout this space. So I appreciate you saying that. And here's my sales pitch.
Oh yeah, you got to have a sales pitch, right?
Our business partner, Joe Harden, with our RTB Awards business, is the race director. He's the founder owner of Odd Duck Running, and he is putting on an event called Hustle in the Heartland. It's on October 10th, so it might interfere with Chicago, but it's an 8-hour 1-mile looped event. So
Ooh.
you can get your ultra in. It's flat. It's also near Indianapolis. It's in Lebanon, Indiana. So I'm bringing you in.
Oh, so good marketing there. Good marketing,
And
Jake.
I have a discount code for you if you want it.
Sold. I'm there. That is too funny.
I do want to touch on something you have on your Team Run bio. And you talk about three different things on there in terms of people that have motivated you, and are motivating you. One is, you talk about the everyday athletes and the athletes that you coach. You mentioned your cross country coach who believed in you when you couldn't believe in yourself. But the first person you mentioned is a friend of yours that passed away.
Mhm.
And I would love to know, when you're out running and maybe it's a difficult moment, like, is that when the memory of your friend comes back and you're like, okay, look, life is hard. I can get through this.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think of her when, you know, things are hard or life is hard. And sometimes we just in our daily runs, right, we're running out stress and frustration. And there are a lot of times where I feel like, it we all are just lucky to be here out doing this thing and enjoying our life and we're alive. And so it puts things in perspective a lot for me. And as an adult too, it was interesting the timing of when um, she got sick was when I had just started running again. And, before she passed away, we talked about a lot of things with running and just like that's how we connected. That's how we first met. We were on the team together. And it was actually that coach, that same coach that I mentioned in my bio, who was our coach.
Okay.
And she was actually, we were all at the funeral together. So it was just really, like a strange, like, coming full circle kind of story in a way because, they were such people that both impacted me, and I was, coming back into the sport again, unfortunately, when she got sick, so it just was interesting timing for all that, so it sticks with me a lot more now, and when I race, I always think of her. Yes. Because, I wear a red ribbon for her,
Yeah.
and, have you ever made anybody cry yet on your show?
We do it all the time. We do it all the time. And
Isn't
here's,
there, like, what was it, Jerry Maguire, where they
yeah.
make
Yes. I'm so glad you know that. So I just shared our first Enduring Minds episodes that we did, which is our men's mental health podcast. I was the guest where our two co-hosts were asking me questions. I was nervous, and I said, "Look, I'm gonna play Rod Tidwell here, and you are Roy Firestone. You're not gonna make me cry, Roy." And I couldn't hold back. It's emotional.
Yeah.
One of the things that we pride ourselves on with all of our podcasts is not to make people cry, but to get people to say, that's a question I've never thought of, or that's a question I've never been asked, or
Yeah.
something along those lines. Because we don't do the typical interview, right? Like,
Mhm.
yes, you ran 254 and you had 3
Yeah.
hours, and that's a
Yeah.
huge part of the story, and it's cool. But I want to get to know Natalie and what
Mhm.
drives Natalie to want to break 3 hours. What is it that drives her to move along? And so in there, we're going to have the emotional ties, right?
Mhm.
So I've shared this multiple times. I'm an alcoholic. I quit drinking 15 years ago.
Mhm.
I have a disordered eating that I still deal with on a daily basis. My dad passed away when I was 23, and I use his passing as motivation. My mother passed away 2 years ago, and I use her passing. Right, like we all have all of this shit that comes at us left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you see like this joking picture on Instagram, but that's like a small snippet in time. And so I want people to feel comfortable to be vulnerable when they talk to me. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing the story.
Yeah.
And the question is, so what's the significance behind the ribbon? Did she wear ribbons when she was running, or is it just something that you've connected the dots with?
We kind of connected the dots is because when she was sick, her mom knew I was gonna right before she passed, her mom um knew I was gonna run. And then after she had passed, she said she had something of Lori's, and it was a ribbon. And then she was trying to get it to me before I left for the race, and it just didn't happen. So she said just get something that like reminds you of her, and I ended up just grabbing a red ribbon, and then from there on it was a thing. So every time I do race and show my pictures, her mom is so sweet, on my Facebook, she'll just say, there you are with the red ribbon, Lori's with you. So it's just a really cute, it just happened impromptu, it wasn't anything super formal. But yeah, it's just nice. It's my tie to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so important because I think it does help us put all of these things in perspective. So yeah, I ran 303 and 304 and it sucked, but you know what? I have this ribbon in my hair and I'm reminded of my friend. And then I'm presuming her mother sent you a message because she saw a picture of you.
Yeah.
And so like all of a
Yeah.
sudden, 303, 304 doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. And So around the time that I usually run Chicago too is like right when she had passed too. So it's just like it's just something about that time
Yeah.
and yeah, there's just
And,
a lot
and,
of
and so that's why, so now here's why Chicago does mean more to you than Boston, because it's that connection to your
yeah,
friends.
yeah,
Whereas Boston is in April, and that's a distance away
yeah,
from the time. And so I could see how like all of these different dots get connected to make that event so special for you.
yeah.
I want to we're bumping up on time here, and I want to make sure we get to our rapid fire food questions because that's always a fun time.
Oh,
But we got connected through Armando and through
mhm.
Alethea Run, and I've started using it for consecutively and consistently for the last 2 weeks. And one of the things that I've noticed it has done for me is help me focus on my form, especially when I'm tired. I'll realize like, oh man, like this doesn't feel right. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I want to get a good score on the Alethea Run app.
Yeah.
So fix this, like move your arms properly, whatever else. How did you get involved with them? How are you using the device? How does it help you as a runner?
So Armando reached out to me and he was like, why don't you come to it? We're gonna do a private demo. We'll show you about the product. And as I was telling you before, I thought it was they had such a professional like everything. They had a Zoom call. They showed me how to use it, and it was just such um a really nice experience. So I first of all, just in general, as a runner, I was like, this thing is awesome. It's so cool. It was just unbelievable that they because I have PTs that do that on gait analysis, and I'm sure it's really in depth and that there's a place for that. But this product's really nice because it can show you fatigue over time. You're constantly running long distances, and it gives you that picture
Yeah.
from the start of your run, which I love, all the way to the end of your run. And then so um I got the Armando reached out to me. I met Cooper. They did a whole presentation. They showed me the entire product, how it works, and um they're extremely professional, a great group of people. I just adore them. They're so nice. The customer service is unbelievable. I actually had one of my athletes who kept getting injured. She ordered one. She loves it. And I use it. It helped me throughout Chicago in those 20s. I was doing it all the time over and over again to not get injured.
Yeah.
I had some issues on my right side. The app will show you that your left side, my left side was left and right were off. So I did the exercise they recommended. Yeah, it's a fabulous product.
Is that not one of the coolest things? Like I love the suggestions on the
Yeah,
exercise to do. Like
yeah.
it's so awesome. So last
Yeah.
night, my wife and I are watching West Wing or rewatching West Wing, I guess. And I was like, oh, I forgot. I got to do my Alethea run workout. Like I got the band. I did my clamshells, and I ran
Yeah.
today, and I didn't feel. And I'm not saying it's like a miracle drug, right?
Yeah.
Do it one time, and all of a sudden, everything is fixed. But I ran today, and I didn't feel any of the stress on that hip that I was
Mhm.
feeling over the weekend. So yeah, as long as you stay consistent with it and you're looking at it and leveraging it, just like anything else with running, you will get
Yeah.
better over time. And I love the fact that for lack of a better phrase, it is a form of injury prevention, which I think
Mhm.
really does help all of us amateur runners out.
Yeah. No, I had clamshells on mine too, and that's like something I never did before. So do they put that on everybody's? No, I'm just kidding. But I love that they have the little workout, the little exercises they have. They show you how to do them. They're in depth. Yeah, it's great.
It's fantastic. We had Derek Song on our show in December, and he's another Alethea Run ambassador that Armando connected me with, and he said the same thing. He's like, as you're running, you're running, and then you remind yourself, oh yeah, Alethea Run is going to give me a feedback after
Mhm.
the run is over, and what am I not working on today that I should have been working on it, and it just helped him improve by preventing injury as well. And I think, I don't mean to put words in Derek's mouth, but I think he's trying to break 3 hours himself. So
Nice.
yeah, it's and he made this statement that Alethea run is moving him closer and closer and closer to that, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I want to be respectful of your time. We're bumping up on an hour here, and we have 2 other shows on our podcast network. One involves food and one involves music. So I'm going to start with music.
Okay.
What is in your earbuds is the name of our show, and so that is the question. What is in your earbuds?
Anything and everything. We're talking The Cure to Better Than Ezra, like Eddie Vedder, Chris Cornell, and then like Celine Dion, Elvis. I have Elvis in there. Yeah, I've got like, I mean, I go the gamut. Like I could do Motown, I can do
Yes.
like hard rock. Yeah, but yeah.
Are you a Spotify user?
No, you're gonna think I'm crazy. I'm not. I still download iTunes.
That's awesome. No,
It's so bad. It's so
it's
I download it and then
fantastic.
put it into my watch. Yeah, like I just been doing it so long, so I don't know. Maybe Spotify is easier to work with, but yeah.
So the reason why I ask is because in 2025 we had the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network playlist, and we hit 57 hours because our audience was adding songs left, right, and center. And we had 891 songs totaling 57 hours, and we had, I think, 60 downloads or shares or whatever they call it on Spotify. So there were 60 or saves. So there were 60 people that were like, I need 900 songs for my runs.
Oh my gosh.
So
cool.
this year, our goal is to get to 75 hours. So if you were a Spotify user, I was going to tell you, just go add your whole list to the
I have a lot of hours to add. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how much more my watch can take. Like I just keep adding.
All right. For food, food is important. Nutrition is important, but our questions always revolve around having fun with our food. And so our community is massive Oreo fans. And so are you an old school Oreo fan, double stuff, loaded, blonde, cakester, thin, or no Oreo at all?
Okay. I used to always be a double stuff, right? That was my thing. But the other day I had, I don't know, have you ever heard of Candy Kitchen?
Yes.
It's like it's like a place on the shore. Like I don't know if they have them on the shore, like where But there's.
Oh, don't forget, I was born and raised in New York, so I know the shore.
So down by me, the Delaware beaches. We don't call it the shore; we call it the beach. But there's there's like a a store chain called Candy Kitchen. I went in there and I got chocolate covered Oreos.
Oh,
wait. Then I had mint chocolate covered Oreos.
Oh.
And I'm done now. Like I can't have another one that's not like that anymore. It's like, yeah.
If you have maybe a Chinatown out in Philly. Well, Philly definitely has a Chinatown because I walked through it a couple of weeks ago. If you go into downtown and you go into Chinatown, look for the Oreos that are from overseas. I picked up a package of strawberry and a package of blueberry raspberry Oreos. They are, I think they're Japanese. So good.
Are they? Oh my gosh, that sounds
goodness.
good. Yeah.
They are so good.
Yeah.
They have one that's a cheese, which is not so good. But if you spin it and take the cheese and spin it and put the strawberry one together, you get like a strawberry cheesecake.
I was just gonna say, is it like a cheese? Does it taste like cheesecake or?
It has a little too much tang to it. So,
okay.
Then they had one that was a peach grape, which just tastes like chemicals in all honesty.
Oh my gosh.
Bad.
That's a little strange combination. You would think, berries go together. Peach
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. We are huge Oreo fans out here. As a matter of fact, so I picked them up at the 7-Eleven right across the street from us. And they also have like this section. It's all Asian, Japanese section in there. And they have strawberry Kit Kats, which are phenomenal. And they've had salted caramel Kit Kats, which are also really good.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Licorice, red or black?
Oh, red. I don't touch black licorice. I think it just has that.
That
That
anise is
flavor, that
terrible.
yeah, the anise flavor. I hate. I don't put that in anything either. Like if have you ever had pizzelles? Like
Yes.
sometimes when we make them, they want you to put anise in there. I'll always just put lemon or vanilla.
Yep.
No, that does not go near my pizzelle. No, thank
So
you.
Sambuca as a kid would have been out for you
Yeah.
too.
Oh no, I don't like any of that stuff. Oh God, the smell of it just
Red vines or Twizzlers?
You know what? I've never had red vines. And I saw them the other day in the store and I thought I should try those because my son loves Twizzlers and I was going to get him Twizzlers and I was like, there's red vines here. And I was like, they look kind of fun. But
Yeah,
no,
they are.
it's funny you said that because I just saw them the other day. Yeah.
Did you use your Twizzlers as a straw?
Yes, I've done that with soda too. So
Yes.
bubbles through. And the other weird thing I used to do is like I would put my McDonald's fries in my milkshake. That was like another
Yes.
thing I would do. Yeah.
100%. That sweet and salty is
Yeah.
unmatched. Candy corn. Is candy corn a real candy or is it just earwax covered in sugar?
It's real candy. It's real candy. And even the
East Coaster and
pumpkins,
you just
the
came
big fat
straight out.
pumpkins. Without a doubt, it's real candy. And, it might even be nutritious too since it's corn. So,
How do you,
vegetable.
how do you eat it? By the color or just the whole
Oh,
kernel
I just
in?
put the whole thing in. Yep. Yeah.
Are Peeps a real candy or Peeps just door stops covered in glitter?
Oh, that's tough. I would say doorstops covered in glitter. It's too much.
It's
Too
too
much. Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
100%. Creamy or crunchy peanut butter or nut butter if you're allergic?
100% creamy. I can't do the crunchy. I don't know why I can't. It's just no, it's not
I,
for me.
I'm not going to assume, but are you a peanut butter and jelly eater as a runner?
I used to carry them in the I did a half Ironman
Yep.
and I had 2 of them in my like little pouch thing on my bike and they were so easy to carry. A lot of people do the Uncrustables
Uncrustables,
or
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I do, but I haven't really done it running. Like it's just not even before I will have like peanut butter and bread
Yeah.
sometimes before I run. Like, yeah.
All right. Did you make PB&Js for your kids?
You know what? They don't like them. Can you believe
Really?
that? They don't. They don't like them. No, it's really hard for me to get them to eat stuff like the traditional things that I feel like we grew up eating, as kids. They're just not, yeah, they're a tough crowd. They
What,
are.
what's your take on grilled cheese? Yay or nay?
Love it. Love it. I just made well, they will eat that. I just made that for them yesterday.
How do you make your grilled cheese?
I just make it very like, butter on both sides. I prefer if I'm gonna make it like myself,
Yeah.
I prefer like to try to use white bread because we always have wheat bread, but there's
Yep.
something different. Like it's just better with white bread.
100%.
And then I mean it has to be American cheese for me. And then sometimes I'll do like tomato and bacon on there if I'm feeling like fun. Yeah.
Is it just me or is it that the tomato, when you put it in there, it slides out and is like it just came
Oh,
out of a volcano?
yeah. And it's like if it like sometimes yeah, sometimes that happens.
Here's my tip for your next time you make a grilled cheese. I don't, maybe you don't like mayonnaise. I don't know, but if you put
can put it on the bread.
Yes, put mayonnaise
Yes.
on the outside with a little bit of butter so you get the tang, and then put shredded cheese in the pan so that the shredded cheese melts on the outside of the crust while you have the other cheese in the middle. Top notch.
And it makes that like cheese crust.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I've heard about the mayo and I have done it before when we were out of like spreadable butter.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just use some mayo in there.
Yeah.
And if I don't tell the kids, they don't know the difference.
Right.
But if I tell them, they're like, no, we're not gonna eat it.
Is red velvet cake a real flavor or is it just chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom?
Chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom. And that was hard for me to say because for a while, when red velvet cake made a comeback, because it was a thing way back, and then it disappeared. And then it made a comeback in early 2000s, I want to say. And I was like, I fell on that bandwagon. Like, oh, my cakes are going to be red velvet. I think my engagement cake was red velvet and I was so into it. But it really is. It's just cake food. It's just, I think it's just dye and like, yeah. No.
Now, real bakers, don't get upset. I got it. There's alkalized cocoa and there's a special
Oh
type of
yeah, they do.
sugar.
Yeah, they
I
do the
got it.
coke. Yeah.
But if I'm going to like ShopRite, that sheet cake is just red dye.
Yep.
Don't try to sell me a $17 cake that you've put $3 into it.
Uh-huh. Agreed. I agree with you there. Totally.
Favorite candy that's chocolate is?
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Favorite non-chocolate candy is?
Those nerd cluster things.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? They're so
Yep.
good. I just started eating them about like 3 months ago. I can't stop. Yeah, they're like gummies and they're
Yep.
covered with the nerds. Oh, so good.
So when people join our Everyday Athlete Clubhouse, we send them a welcome box and nerd clusters are in there.
Oh, it's a great one. I use them. I used to use them for like pre-fuel for most of my runs. I
Yes.
would just like shove them in and
So
go.
good. Have you had the Oreo Reese's peanut butter cup?
No,
Yeah, it's a mashup. It's good.
I haven't seen that anywhere.
Yeah, it's
Oh my gosh,
so good.
that
It's
sounds good because they're my
top
two favorite.
notch.
They're like my two favorite things. So,
Do you have a favorite recovery food?
for a while, I was eating. This is gonna sound really weird, but I would eat like rice and tuna like after
Yeah.
it's such a weird but it was like what my body craved. However, one of the things I do really love to have after a run, and this is another weird one too, is like just plain. I love chocolate milk. Like that's always a great, it's great for protein, it has the carbs, but I just like sometimes when I get done a run I will seriously crave just regular milk.
Interesting.
Yes, it's weird. And I went through this phase during my last block where like I couldn't stop. So I must have needed the vitamins from it
Yeah,
or something. And I would just like seriously like drink a gallon almost after all my runs. Yeah.
that's amazing. Pumpkin spice or apple cider?
Apple cider.
Chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin?
Definitely chocolate chip. Oatmeal raisin should not even be like I hate oatmeal raisin, and I hate when people put raisins in chocolate chip cookies. I think that's like so wrong. You can't do that. My mom used to do that to us. And
Oh,
I would say
that's not right.
yeah, it was a mean trick.
I'm a raisin guy, so oatmeal raisin cookie over chocolate chip all the time. But do
Really?
not put raisins in the chocolate chip. Like,
No.
do not do that. That's mean and cruel.
It is.
Favorite type of cake?
Just like a real dark chocolate, like devil's food cake, chocolate icing, like chocolate.
If you ever come out to LA, there is a place out here called Love Organic Cafe in West Hollywood. And it's an all vegan place, but you would never know it by the chocolate cake. It is so rich. It is so decadent. I can't get enough of it. Like,
Oh gosh, that
and
sounds delicious.
yeah, the crazy part is it's like a mile and a half from here, so I can walk to get it whenever I want, which is always dangerous.
That's bad. Like that would be bad for me. I'd be like, especially at night. Like I'm always. I wish. I mean, I could DoorDash, but I'm like, I wish there was a dessert truck or something that delivers and and I could come outside and like, they'd have a little window and I could pick like all these different desserts. And I'm talking about like, everything, mousse, like all the whole 9 yards, like all different cakes, cookies, ice creams. Yeah, I'm like that. I feel like I should. That's a business.
That's
See,
a
there's
business for
that I
sure.
could
You
start,
just
yeah.
talked about maybe starting a business.
Yeah, that's what. See, the scatterbrain just.
You could do. I knew a baker when I lived in Dallas who basically did baking on consignment. So she would bake for other bakeries or other coffee shops, and they would sell that stuff in there. So there's an opportunity. You could manage the truck and have people create the bakery, so baked goods, so you don't have to actually be in the kitchen, and then you sell them and you give them a rip.
I would love that. I would love it. And you could do the marketing. You could.
Yeah, sign me up.
There we go.
Last question for you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. A tray of brownies has come out of the oven. It's been on the counter long enough to cool down so that you can cut it. Are you going to the corner piece, the edge piece, or the middle for the pure ooey gooey?
The middle. The edges, I try to avoid them at all costs. Definitely the middle.
So then do you avoid the edges on a lasagna as well?
No. opposite. I love the edges on lasagna because they're all crusty.
Yes.
That's the best part. Yeah. Yeah.
I totally agree with
I'm
you.
inconsistent there, but
Are you just give me the brownie, or are you topping it with ice cream?
if there's ice cream around, we top it. Then if there's whipped cream, sprinkles, fudge, throw that on too.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? I don't think I asked you that.
Mint chocolate chip.
Yes. My homegirl. No pineapple on pizza, mint chocolate chip.
Yeah.
But it has to be green. Like I have
Yes.
to have
Yeah. The white, like Briars. It just doesn't. I look at it and I'm like, I don't care what it tastes like. It's not mint chocolate chip. That was always confusing. That's like putting the raisins in the cookies.
Yes. Natalie, thank you so much. You've been a blast for the last hour. It's been great getting to know you. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Awesome. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
For those of you that have stuck around for the last hour, thank you so much. Time is the greatest gift that we can give to each other, and you've given me the gift of your time. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, comment on Spotify and YouTube. Like I said, it really does help us with the algorithm. But besides that, you're going to make me smile when I wake up in the morning and I see the comments coming in, because they just mean the world to me. And I am also the one responding back to you. It's not some AI bot algorithm responding to you. It is me. So drop me comments, ask questions. If you have questions for Natalie, I can relay them to her as well. Stay tuned for our next show, which will come out next week, as we do these shows every Tuesday in 2026. Have a great one, everybody. I'll see you next time.